What's up, team? I hope you all guys have an amazing day. In this video I want to talk about the money management. In Forex trading, there's one thing that the winners understand and the losers don't. It's the money management. This is where the actual money is either won or lost, so in other words, the single most important thing in Forex trading. But only a few people go over this. For some reason, money management is the unsexy part of trading, which I don't understand. The one thing that makes your bank account go up or down just happens to be the unsexy part. That's ridiculous, but we will talk about that in a minute. What I wanted to bring up first was something that one of the owners of my prop firm said, and I don't 100% agree with him, but he's a really good trader and you should probably listen to what he says. He told me, and he's told everybody, that when it comes to entering a trade, you could pretty much just flip a coin and go long or short. If your money management is right, you are still going to make a lot of money long term. Now, make no mistake, he's correct. I'm just of the mindset that you should probably still working on getting the best trade entries as possible, just to make your odds go even higher of doing well, but he's still 100% correct. When it comes to actual Forex trading, these are the three things where we are going to go over it exclusively. The three main categories, and these are in order. I have ranked these. Number one is money management. There is nothing more important than that. Number two is trading psychology, because no matter what you do, it can all be wrecked if your head is not right. And number three is trade entries. We are going to spend a lot of time on trade entries, of course. There's a lot to talk about, but out of these three, it is easily number three. So let's start with number one, the most important thing when it comes to Forex, the money management. There are three questions we need an answer to when it comes to money management. First question is, how much do we risk per trade? Second question is, where is the stop loss target? And the last question is, when do I bank some of the profits? In my system, everything depends on the average market movement and the maximum risk percentage I'm willing to take per trade. So how do we find out the average market movement? It's easy. To find out the average movement of the market, I use an indicator called ATR. It's the average true range. It's the most important indicator in the world. I never ever trade without the ATR. My system is built on this indicator. It's the number one, and you should probably implement this into your trading as well. I will show you exactly why it's so important to use. So let's start learning by doing. Please add the average true range indicator to your chart right now. You can do this by simply clicking on the insert on the top left, then indicators, then oscillators, and there you find the ATR, the average true range. I always use the default settings with a period of 14, so just click OK and you're ready to go. So now you see the ATRs popping up. Here you go. Please keep that in mind. We want to know the average movement over the last 14 days of the market. And that's why it's so important to use the daily chart, so the ATR can give you the data for the last 14 days. Alright? Great. You see this blue line over here? Yeah, you see it? Don't care about that line. You need to care about this number on the top left right over here. This is the number we need. This is the average movement range of the last 14 days. And this is all we need to calculate our stop loss and take profit targets. Let's start with the stop loss target. I have a rule for my stop loss. My stop loss is always 1.5 times the ATR. So if I would take a trade on the GBP USD, I would simply just calculate 104 pips times 1.5 for my stop loss. So this would be around about 150 pips. Let me calculate it. 104 times 1.5. Yeah, it would be 156 for my stop loss when I would trade the GBP US dollar. When I'm using the MT4, I always set my stop in points and not in pips, because when I double click this trade, the Euro CAD, You can modify the order and simply put in the stop loss here, and you just need to put in the pip value in points. So when we talk about like in this example, a stop loss of 156 pips, then I would simply put in like 1560 points. It's the same. So just to know that when you put your stop loss and take profit, guys, you just need to add 10 at the end of your pip value. So how to set it up? Let's say you want to set the stop level from 1560 points. You just click on that button and then you press this button, but I will not do this right now because I don't want to change the order. Just to show you how simply you can add your stop and take profit. It's very easy. So once we know how many pips we willing to go underwater, like in this example 165, we need to calculate our lot volume for this trade. That means we want to set the value of each pip. To do this, we first need to know how many risk we are willing to take. I talk about the percentage risk depending on our capital. I prefer a risk between 2 to 5% per trade. Once we made our decision how much we risk, we stick to it no matter what. Never ever change your risk level, because let's say you start with a risk of 5% and you took 3 losses in a row and your account is down 15%. You think you don't want to lose more money, so you switch to 2% risk. So how long will it take you to get your 15% back with a 2% risk? I hope you know what I'm trying to tell you. Choose a maximum risk per trade and then stick to it. Don't play with this number if you want consistent results. So let me give you an example. Let's say we got a $100,000 account and we choose to risk a maximum of 2% per trade. That makes a maximum risk of $2,000 per trade. So next I need to know how many pips I got until my stop gets hit. So in this case, the ATR is showing me like 104 pips average movement. So my stop loss would be at 156 pips. You just need to calculate 2000 and divide it by 156. Let's do this. 2000 divided by 156. That would be 1282. So 1282 would be the pip value for each pip. So in the next step, I'm going to the XM pip value calculator and I just put in the GBP US dollar right here. My basic currency is the euro and I take standard lots. I'm gonna calculate the pip value for one lot. Now I calculate this and then I see one lot got 8.82 euro value. So I'm gonna go back to my calculator and then I divide 12.82 with 8.82. So this is my lot size I'm willing to risk, I'm willing to take. So 1.45 is the lot value I'm going to take. Alright, now listen to me. We take that lot size of 1.45 and divide it by 2. We do that because we want to take half of our position off the table after the trade runs like 104 pips in profit. We always bank some of the profits when the market moves in our direction, and we always use the average movement of the market for our take profit. So understand this. We split our maximum risk on 2 trades. The first trade has a take profit depending on the average true range, and the second trade we want to ride until the trend is over. So when the take profit target gets hit, we pull our stop loss from our second trade to break even. This ensures that we are able to ride the big trends with sometimes more than 1000 pip gains and without any more risks. So When the market turns around, we close the trade with break even. But if the trend continues, then it's payday. And yeah, this is so important. Riding the big trends is what makes us money at the end of the year. So keep that in mind. Every time you trade, you need to give the market a chance to fill your pocket with a huge trend. And then we do it over and over and over again and never stop. That's the key. Thank you for your time, buddy. Peace.